Alright, today we are replacing the AC compressor and the accumulator dryer on this 2000 Lincoln Town Car. The compressor, the clutch has gone bad and it's making all kinds of racket and causing all kinds of drag on the engine. So we're going to go ahead and swap it out. We got our new compressor, brand new part from autopartsdirecttoyou.com. This compressor comes pre-filled with oil, so we don't have to worry about adding any additional oil in there. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. We've already brought the car to the repair shop and we had them suck down the refrigerant. You want to make sure you do that because you don't want to vent that refrigerant out into the atmosphere. So once you get that step done, you're okay to take the lines off and we'll go from there. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is move this coolant reservoir out of my way a little bit because the compressor is down at the bottom of the engine. First thing I did is I went ahead and removed the coolant reservoir. That'll give me some more room to work. I just took some pliers and pinched off this coolant hose so we don't lose all the coolant. Alright, first thing we're going to do is disconnect these hoses. Just unbolt the bracket from the block there. Now these lines have two quick disconnects. They're kind of hard to see here. Okay, the lines on this compressor the lines further down in the compressor are actually seized on there from rust. So I'm going to have to try to take all the lines out with the compressor all as one. This is just like any other Ford quick disconnect. I got the tool on there, and then fitting this comes apart like so, and I got the high pressure line down here already disconnected. Going to disconnect this electrical connector, go into the compressor. Okay, now all we got to do is unbolt the compressor, which on this one, it's actually going to be easiest from underneath. So we're going to jack up the corner of the car and we're going to go underneath. We got the vehicle jacked up, we're underneath it now. You can see here, this is the AC compressor. There's actually only 3 bolts that hold it to the engine. So I'm just going to go ahead and take out those 3 bolts. Okay, now the compressor is loose. I think I can pull it out from the top. Alright, now the compressor, there we go, is going to come out in one big chunk with these lines. We got to do a little transferring from the old compressor to the new. We're also going to do a flush on the system, which we've actually done in a couple of our other videos. So we're not going to show it to you again. If you need to see it, check out our other AC videos and you'll see how to flush the system. So we're going to go ahead and do the flush, and I'm going to transfer some components from the old compressor to the new. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is take off the bolt here, which holds the manifold hose onto the old compressor. I'm going to replace the O-rings in the new compressor. The new compressor kit comes with a whole set of O-rings. So every line you disconnect, you're going to want to change the O-rings in. Alright, I got the old O-rings out of the new compressor. And we're going to want to replace it with the green O-rings that came with the kit. Okay, once you have those installed, just want to make sure the mounting surface on the manifold hose is clean. Alright, we got our surface cleaned on the manifold hose. We're going to go ahead and reinstall this onto the new compressor. Now normally what you would do is disconnect the hoses here, but that thing is so rusted I didn't even want to try to attempt to get that apart. So there's a good chance I would break and try to force that apart. Okay, so we'll feed it back down. This little hook up here was clipped behind this bolt. Okay, now all we got to do is go underneath and put the bolts back in. All right, now we're back under the vehicle now. We got our compressor in. We're going to pull this wire back around it because it kind of came like so. Now, with our compressor lined up, go ahead and get this bolt started and run it down. Now with that one snugged, it's not tight all the way. Go ahead and get the other two started. That'll assure us that the compressor is all lined up properly if all three bolts start easy. Compressor's in and tight. Now, we'll just have to go back up to the top of the car. So for this point, I think we're done underneath. All right, next we're going to replace the orifice tube in the dryer. The orifice tube is located on this vehicle, this town car, located on the evaporator side of this line right here. So we got to disconnect this line. Alright, got the line disconnected. You can see the end of the orifice tube right inside that line there. Alright, we're going to try getting this orifice tube out of here, hopefully on the first shot. Alright, this thing's coming out. Oh wow. Yeah, we definitely, it's a good thing we're doing the flush. See all that metal and particles on that orifice tube? The metal is actually the inside of the compressor that's come apart. You can see like a wooden looking substance. What that is, that's part of the compressor as well. It's called the reed valve. There's little valves inside the compressor called reed valves, which are actually made of like a bamboo type wood. And that's exactly what that is. Those little chunks of wood is from the reed valves. So this compressor, that old one, you can tell it just come completely apart on the inside. So we're going to need to give this thing a good flush to get all that stuff out of there. All right, we're gonna take the dryer off here because we're gonna replace the dryer. And we're also gonna flush that evaporator out. Got one bolt on the, or one nut on the back here. And of course we already got the line disconnected on the front. We're going to use this AC flush solvent to flush out the evaporator. I said originally I wasn't going to show you, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. All you do is you spray a generous amount into the top of the evaporator. Now you have to make sure that none of the hoses are connected to the evaporator as you do this. Once you got a good amount in there, you take it. Take compressed air. You see down here? And you shoot the compressed air that pushes all that solvent back through the evaporator. You can see the color that's coming out. I'm going to do this full strength, but we're going to move the cameras because this stuff will hurt the camera. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and put our orifice tube back in. Just slides down in there. I got new O-rings placed on this line here, so we're just going to snap that back together. And we'll put our safety. Try that again. We'll put our safety thing back on here. It just snaps on like that. Now we just got to put our dryer on. This little insulator and bracket came off the old dryer. Just slide it over the new one. Just going to go around like that. That threads onto there. Got my new O-rings installed on this line as well. That goes on there. Safety clip goes back on that line. I'll go ahead and tighten this down and install my bracket. Got to transfer the low pressure cycling switch also from the old dryer to the new. Just does not have to be very tight because the O-ring that's in there makes the seal. So it's just got to be snug enough where it won't back off. Okay. Last thing we have to do, got to put an O-ring on this line. This went from the compressor to the condenser. Last thing we have to do is we got to run a vacuum on the system. We'll double check all our seals now. We got everything reconnected, all our O-rings replaced. Make sure everything's tight. We got our compressor in. Got it all bolted down. I have to put the belt back on. Let's see. We're going to put the belt on, we're going to run a vacuum on the system, we're going to get it charged, and we'll make sure it's good and cold. But other than that, that's pretty much everything you need to know on how to replace an AC compressor on a Lincoln Town Car. Alright, well that is the basics on how to replace the AC compressor on a 2000 Lincoln Town Car. Keep autopartsdirecttoyou.com in mind next time you're looking for some inexpensive parts. So we're going to get this vacuum down, refilled with refrigerant, and she to go. Thank you.